From the director of All Quiet on the Western Front, Edward Berger brings us a new religious mystery thriller called Conclave. Welcome to Cinema, where we focus on a film. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Conclave, if you've seen it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or somewhere right in the middle? Or if you're waiting for this review to decide if you're going to see it or not. Make sure to like this video if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already to join in film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. And getting right into synopsis. With the sudden and unexpected death of the Pope, Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with the management of electing a new one. But when he begins to uncovering certain things about the different people trying to get on trial, he begins to discover a conspiracy that could end to the downfall of the church. And taking it right into the positive, first off, I'd like to mention the cast. Ralph Fiennes, Jon Lithgow, and Stanley Tucci as the main cast, as well as quite a few other supporting roles, just help immerse you into the experience. Their performances are downright awesome for the nature of what they're doing. It's very formal, very rigid with the nature of the story, but it's free-flowing, and the mystery and the thriller keeps you captivated from the very beginning. And the music score is just really elevated, really puts you into immersion of the story, just getting you into the mystery feel that I can't quite put to words what the music communicates, but it is eerie in one sense and suspicious for the nature of the flow of that music, and really builds upon those performances, make it more captivating. But I have to mention, of course, the cinematography is just so good for the nature of how it flows on throughout. While it's very minimal with the amount of colors used, you're mostly getting some red, some white, some black. It's all placed against this neutral background, and when you get a great cinematographer and a great director being put onto frame, it just makes all of the shots make really wonderful nature things against a neutral gray background that is placed in Rome, against the walls of Rome and the cathedral. What we're getting out of all of that just really makes the colors pop in so many different ways that I did not expect for the nature of that. And not only do I enjoy the acting, the performance, and the actors themselves, just balancing in that with some strong supporting performances makes it that much better. Could be Oscar contenders within the world of what we're getting out of this film, just keeping you on the edge of your seat with what's going to happen next. Not always really maybe understanding everything that's going on if you're not into the religious side of things, how you're getting about with all the technical jargon, but being able to get immersed within this religious thriller that captivates you by the amazing screenplay that's really put on screen, has a poignant sense of style that's very Catholic, that's very its own type of thing. And even as a Christian, I'm not familiar deep into the Catholic side of things, following all the Pope, everything that's going on, but how that immerses you still. There's nothing that holds you back, even if you're not religious, that will still make this work effectively as its own style of film. It's outside and unopposed to religious views to be able to see this as a great story by the screenplay, by the performances, and how well this pulls itself together as an art piece. And like I said, this came back from All Quiet on the Western Front, which was one of my favorite movies of 2022, and Edward Berger just manages to pull this off in a very different style. That was dark, gritty, and its own sort of drama. This was a mystery thriller with a completely different feel, and while you sense the same type of style, especially with the filmmaking, the look of this, it has all these different colors that work effectively in its own nature that just pulls off something completely different. And adding that into all the different management details of the production, everything that's going on with the performances, things that keep you second guessing with the mystery, how things are going to get pulled off, and going twist after twist while feeling deserving, while feeling like it's not trying to be too much, trying to throw you off the scent with clever little things that are hidden from you. it's natural conspiracy ideas that builds upon the religious views and doesn't really immerse you too strongly to the side where you get lost or get confused with all of the ideas or language that's utilized within the church. It takes you into the side of humanity and builds upon a nature of flawed humans that works within the church, that makes sense for the real life story that we can go into, and just makes it elevated because of the problems that can come if they don't get a new pope, if they can't figure out what's going on. And yet they uncover different secrets of the elective candidates along the way, those that are trying to become a pope, different things where you're picking a wrong candidate or someone that's the better of the worst candidates. So it goes you and throws you into a loop of where it's going to head off into the end. And still, even by the end, it gives a strong twist that really elevates the nature of your thoughts, what's all going on. There's not a high in the sense where it's wavering up and down. But that's also where I love the appreciation for keeping you captivated on essentially a straight line through and like little ups and downs of that, but not necessarily a concave of things that really take it down and then take you back up. It's really steady with its pacing, even if it's slower, even if it's a 2-hour runtime that feels like it could be shorter. It feels like it's still deserving because everything feels essential to the nature of the plot that really builds upon the performances and the cinematography, everything that puts this film together to become a great film as a whole. And going right into the mixed elements, yes, there are certain aspects of the film people may not be lost by the nature of this story, how it builds upon, because everything feels clear-cut enough to understand the ideas. But yes, there's a technical jargon aspect to the language that may not always be familiar, easy to follow, things you have to pay close attention to, and maybe that's part of the first time experience, not knowing the mystery, not knowing the background of the church, or maybe it's things that the technical jargon works better for those that are familiar with the Catholic background, those who are understand the nature of the story, but being able to see the flawed humans and take it down to a sense of humanity while also having the stakes at point from the very beginning can throw you in for a loop of whether you love it or whether you like it. Now, there are certain aspects where, yes, there is some community members that it just may not work for you. It's maybe too slow. If you're not into mysteries, then this could get you thrown off guard, just what you're getting out of the story as a whole. But that's a very selective niche type of group. But if you're aware of yourself, if you know you're just not captivated by mysteries, especially slower ones that takes time to build its own story, that's where I'm still wanting you to be aware of your own taste, of your own regards, that it may not be a film for you. But for the most collective aspect, if you're intrigued by mysteries and thrillers, this is definitely one of the better ones, and a great one from Edward Berger at that. So that's just my personal thoughts on Conclave, which I have to rate as simply 8 out of 10. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Conclave. Was it good, was it bad, or somewhere right in the middle? Or if you're waiting for this review to decide if you're going to see it or not, make sure to like this video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you haven't already to join in the film culture community where we talk about the love of cinema as a whole. So that's just all, and make sure to do yourself a favor and go watch a movie.